My dad was military professional for 30 years in the Navy and in the Coast Guard, and we grew up in Winchester Bay by the lighthouse, and it was wonderful. I think growing up, I noticed the transition. Obviously, like as a kid, you don't recognize everything, but you do recognize pivotal moments that you know your life has changed. And one of those pivotal moments was when he stopped being in the military. And my dad served in the Vietnam War, and when he stopped being in the military, that transition definitely made an impact on my life, just in the way that my dad, as gracious as he was, as wonderful as he was, as outgoing as he was, fell into a deep depression, which then caused sort of a ripple effect in our life, essentially. And I think even just as a small kid, like I recognized what happened. And then now looking back as an adult, I can be like, oh, if he was supported in a way that mental health, in a way that helped that transition from the military into civilian life. Granted, he went into the fire department and he did good, but man, he sure did struggle. And it's like, gosh, if there was a way to transition that without that struggle so much, that is why we're here. And that's why Mission 22 is so important, because, you know, my dad did become suicidal at a time during that period. And to see your parent struggle, it brings in that like reality of them no longer being a hero, but also being just a real person with struggles. My grandfather was also firefighter career. My grandma was an anesthesiologist, so nursing, so it was very much in our blood to be something. But honestly, I was terrified of blood. And I was like, that is not for me. But then it just happenstance. I got into this field around 2015 when I started at EMS. I just fell in love with it, and I got over that fear of blood and over the fear of everything that entails, because I am considered a sensitive person, and I do cry, and I do have these range emotions, and I like to feel them all. And how can you compartmentalize and still process all of that and still go through that and still function on a day-to-day basis? Well, I think when people hear mental health, it encompasses everything. And we just automatically view it as like, oh, it's a negative thing. Mental health is negative. The beauty of this industry is that we use humor quite often. Sometimes it's pretty dark humor, but we do use humor. And I think that is so important because it's such an outlet, because it pulls back those deep crevices in it, and we can do it in a way that's like we're laughing about really hard situations. Yeah, I just wish the stigma behind mental illness is that it's not wrapped up all into one thing that's bad. We can be sad. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be happy. Even if someone has lost somebody, it's still okay to be happy and find joy in things. And what our crews have to go through and what they see on a daily basis, we're showing up at people's worst possible times of their lives. I do believe some people are able to compartmentalize and only like a little dust lingers on with them, but sometimes some of them are big boulders. There's a couple calls that I know that I will never, ever, 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 ever forget. And I will always carry that with me. And I was only on the bus for a couple years, being partners. You got to figure out where your support system is to be able to do that. If I'm more vocal being like, hey, I'm a safe spot, because it is just so important to be able to understand that mental illness isn't linear. It's an encompassment of so many things.